What's going on, people? It is the Wolverine Coach Mike Jones, and I'm back to you with another episode of Beyond the Ropes. This is kind of what you would say a spinoff from what we normally do here. That's me, Kurt Steele, and LL Cool Torrance. We're usually on the Detroit Lions. But I gotta switch it up a little bit, man. So I'm bringing to you the Beyond the Ropes, just little issues, little stories, little behind the scenes about professional boxing. And right now, I want to get into it, man. So, without further ado, we need to talk about what needs to happen and between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. And I know right now the boxing world is taken by Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. And me personally, I'm not as excited about that fight as I am for Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez. That is the fight that needs to happen, not Terrence Crawford, who just jumped up to junior middleweight, which is 154, and had a fight, and he's now going to go up to 168. Now I know the names, right? Those are the two top names in boxing right now, right? Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. So the buzz is hot about that fight. It hasn't been locked in yet, but I guess it's close. But the fight that makes the most sense, and the fight that boxing fans, not just fans of boxing, whenever something big happens, like just the people who tuned in to Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, or who look for the names. I'm talking about for real boxing fans. It is Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez. And my first topic, as you can see on the screen, the WBC needs to force this fight. Okay, the WBC needs to force this fight, and I know there's a lot of speculation about the WBC not wanting to lose sanctioning fees and all of that. Cut the noise. The WBC is a $1 billion organization. Okay, there's no way in hell the WBC is in fear of losing sanctioning fees for making this fight. Like, come on now, like be for real. The WBC, the biggest. I would say the WBC is the biggest title in boxing. I know there's four, belts, recognized champions in every weight division, but the WBC is the belt. That is the main belt. And for them to say, and I'm not saying the WBC, but I'm saying people are like, oh, well, the WBC doesn't want to lose sanctioning fees if Canelo decides to drop the WBC championship and then go to light heavy. Um, that is, I don't know, man. That's just a lot. That's just a crock of BS to me. And then another thing is, why would Canelo want to go up to light heavy, right? Um, we all seen Canelo has been very successful at light heavy, but also Canelo's his only loss since Floyd Mayweather was at light heavy, and that's to Dimitri Bivol. And it's not because of anything, but besides Canelo is just not the size and stature of a light heavyweight. Okay, like Canelo can go up there, beat guys, and prove a point, but ultimately he is mismatched when he goes up that far. I don't know if you guys remember, but Canelo was like a welterweight. Canelo was 147 when uh when he started fighting, maybe even 140. But Canelo, um, there's obvious mismatches when he moves up that far, and I just think Canelo is. I personally, I really hate to say this, but I think Canelo is ducking this Benavidez fight. Um, and you know what? I People say that maybe it's because Benavidez' name doesn't go with the risk, right? The risk is higher with him losing to David Benavidez over going up to light heavyweight and rematching with Dimitri Bivol or Arthur Beterbiev. Um, I think Canelo could beat either one of those guys. Even though Bivol beat Canelo in the first fight, I don't think Bivol could beat Canelo a second time. Um, but Canelo would have an easier chance with Beterbiev or with Bivol than he would with David Benavidez. And I really hate to say this because Canelo is my favorite fighter since Floyd retired, but Canelo's ducking. Like Canelo is ducking. Canelo went on record saying he wants 100 million, 150 million to fight David Benavidez, which is ridiculous. Seeing how professional boxing has went down so much that HBO and Showtime have both backed out of boxing. Like there's no more HBO and Showtime pay per view boxing, and for networks like those to back out of boxing just means boxing is on the decline viewership wise, and that might be because MMA, and that might just be because fights like this, like fights that should happen between Benavidez and Canelo, are not happening, and that's mainly on the belt organizations for there being four belt organizations. Dana White doesn't have this problem, right? The UFC, there's one champion, and Dana White makes you fight that guy. Boxing, there's like every belt, as I said before, is like four different organizations. It's like, and they're making it tough. But at the end of the day, I think Canelo is scared of losing that fight. Um, and Canelo says he probably doesn't want to take it. And there's like I've read on a few chat groups and I've read in the videos and I read comments, and the most popular thought is that Canelo doesn't want to take the risk for a name as small as Benavidez, because people who aren't boxing fans don't really know who David Benavidez is. Okay, so I'll give him that, but for fight fans, I think Canelo versus Benavidez would be not only a fight of the year, but the best fight for a few years. Like I think that would be because you got to think of the style matchup. Canelo Alvarez is an aggressive counterpuncher. Okay, he will take the lead, but Canelo is an aggressive counterpuncher. David Benavidez is an aggressive, like, stalker of the fight. Like he'll go forward. David Benavidez is not a backwards fighter. That's not David Benavidez doesn't fight. You know what I'm saying? Doing this. David Benavidez walks you down with the punches. Canelo Alvarez slips punches. Boom, 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 boom. So that style makes for the perfect matchup. Okay, what David Benavidez does well, Canelo does well on the opposite end of the spectrum, and that's with defense. So I feel like that fight needs to happen. And people say, is it for Canelo's legacy? No, not really. And that's why I think Canelo is ducking this fight because he knows he doesn't need that to cement his legacy. Like let's not fool ourselves. Canelo Alvarez is the best fighter um, since Floyd. Okay, so there's not even a question about it who the best fighter is, and even at the end of Floyd's career, Canelo was probably the best fighter in boxing. Even though Canelo lost to Floyd, um, I think ever since that fight, though, man, Canelo Alvarez has been the best fighter in boxing. But I just think this fight needs to happen. Like, why? Like, Benavidez even went up, actually, excuse me, to light heavyweight. When Canelo said that he might go to light heavyweight, well, Benavidez fought his last fight at light heavyweight. Um, and Canelo, basically Benavidez has been chasing Canelo. And the WBC, go ahead. You you talk about losing sanctioning fees. Come on, WBC, you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Force the fight, right? Force the fight. Like make the fight happen. This fight is more exciting. Will be more exciting than Terrence Crawford versus Canelo. it won't be as big of a buildup because people don't know Benavidez like they know Terrence Crawford. Like Terrence Crawford right now is the pound for pound guy, even though I still think it's Canelo. I still think even though Canelo has has fought like lesser competition in recent years, and Canelo, he's changed his style a little bit. He's more of a attacker, but I feel like Canelo Alvarez is still the pound for pound guy, even though that's Terrence Crawford right now, and that those two make are bigger names to make a fight. Those two names will sell the fight, even though I think personally Crawford has the uphill battle going from he was just 147 like a year ago, okay, and now he's moving up to 168. Oh, he fought at 154 one time, then he moved right up to 168. I just don't see, maybe Crawford can hang around, but I don't know. That's just a big if. I think David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez is the fight that needs to happen. And I think David Benavidez is hungry enough to say, F this. I'm going in there and I'm going to take Canelo out. And I think that's the reason why Canelo is trying to save this fight for his last hurrah, for his out. But I just think it needs to happen. The WBC needs to force this fight. Does Canelo need this fight for his legacy? No. No. But he needs this fight to cement himself, I think, as the pound for pound king. And if you're in boxing, you want to be the pound for pound king. Okay. You can't let the making money overtake the pound for pound king. If Canelo Alvarez wins this fight, yeah, he could retire. You could retire off this. I understand that 100%, but man, this fight needs to happen. Canelo versus Benavidez needs to happen before Canelo Crawford. You know why? Because what if Crawford does end up beating Canelo, right? Then that takes a little bit off of the Canelo Benavidez fight, which I don't think it happened. But I'm just saying, Canelo, man, make the fight happen. WBC, force the fight. Like force the fight. And if Canelo drops the belts and goes up to 175 and fights the winner between Bivol and Beterbiev too, then we all know what the deal is, right? We all will know that Canelo was ducking and he doesn't want no parts of Benavidez, and I don't blame him. Benavidez is a tough fighter. Um, so yeah, man. But let me know in the comment section what you think. I know that you guys all want to see Canelo versus Crawford. I personally want to see Canelo versus Benavidez. But tell me which fight that you guys want to see more, Canelo versus Crawford or Canelo versus Benavidez. And also tell me what you think about Canelo ducking this fight or if he's ducking this fight. You know, I I personally think he is. But let me know in the comment section what you think. This is the Wolverine, Coach Mike Jones. And I'm going to holler at y'all, man.